overseas trip as the presumptive Republican nominee. First stop, the Olympics. But within 24 hours of touching down, he is now at the center of a firestorm, questioning whether London is ready to host these Olympic Games. It's your voice, your vote, and ABC's David Muir asked Romney about it all today. David, good evening to you.
Josh, good evening. This was supposed to be Mitt Romney's Olympic moment after having turned around the Salt Lake City Games. But today, as this day unfolded, the spotlight of the world stage proved it can be blistering. In a city about to put on the Summer Olympics, many here did not like what they heard when Mitt Romney was asked whether the London Games looked ready.
You know, it's hard to know just how well it will turn out. There are a few things that were disconcerting. The stories about the private security firm not having enough people.
It set off a firestorm in the British press. On television here, it's the lead story.
If he's here to make friends, he's got a funny way of showing it.
Exactly. The mayor of London in front of 60,000 people in Hyde Park.
There's a guy called Mitt Romney who wants to know whether we're ready. He wants to know whether we're ready. Are we ready? Are we ready? Yes, we are.
And this morning, when Britain's Prime Minister was asked about not being ready, he answered, seeming to compare London to Salt Lake City.
We are holding an Olympic Games in one of the busiest, most active, bustling cities anywhere in the world. I mean, of course, it's easier if you hold an Olympic Games in the middle of nowhere.
The Times of London homepage, Prime Minister delivers Olympic put-down to Romney. And in the middle of it all, it was time for Romney to pay his visit to that Prime Minister. Here outside 10 Downing Street, wanted to give you a little bit of the flavor of the international curiosity into Mitt Romney's world audition. The international press lined up here, but it's the British reporters in particular who have gathered here to ask Mitt Romney what was so disconcerting about the London Olympics. And when Romney emerged, we asked him about the words he used that set this off. You found some things disconcerting in the lead up to the London Olympics. I'm curious, are you still concerned, and did you talk with the Prime Minister about that today?
My experience as an Olympic organizer is that there are always a few very small things that end up going not quite right in the first day or so. Those get ironed out, and then when the games themselves begin and the athletes take over, all the mistakes of the organizing committee, and I made a few, all of those are overwhelmed by the many things that the athletes carry out.
The Prime Minister here in Britain late today was asked if Mitt Romney apologized to him during that meeting at 10 Downing Street. The Prime Minister saying he felt a vote of confidence from Romney. But this story traveled all the way back to Salt Lake City. A spokesman for the mayor there saying of the Prime Minister here that we'd love to have him. He can stop by any time. We'd love to send him a map so he doesn't run into any trouble locating the middle of nowhere. So the story isn't over, Josh.
David Muir in London, thank you. And David will be traveling with Mitt Romney for the...
Good evening, I'm Chris Matthews up in New York. Let me start tonight with the latest Romney gaffe. Did you hear the one about the big shot American who visits other countries and gets everybody mad? About the guy who complains about the French waiters, who says it smells in Venice? I could go on. But what about that guy who just told the British people that the London Olympics look a bit dodgy? Who got everybody over there so angry at him and us that they're more united than ever as a country? Who is this clod, you must be asking? Well, his name's Mitt Romney, and he's gotten the worst press in London since George W. The screeching from Fleet Street tells it all. Mitt the Twit, heckled the Sun. Who invited party pooper Romney, asked the Daily Mail. So how should we react to this kerfuffle? It seems this man who has trouble speaking earthling here at home, who talks of flying on an aircraft, of marvelous budgets, of being a severe conservative, can be just as awkward when acting the diplomat abroad. Here's a question. If a gentleman is someone who doesn't insult someone unintentionally, then Mitt Romney, with all his posh schooling, has been not very much of a gentleman this week. And if this insult of the London Olympics, calling the preparations disconcerting, was intentional, what's this guy up to? I thought he wanted to improve Anglo-American relations, not trash them. Well, let's hear from...
Welcome to Politics Nation. I'm Al Sharpton. Tonight's lead, the man with the Golden Gaffe. Mitt Romney spent the last 24 hours in London trying to repair the damage to his campaign after suggesting that the British weren't ready for the Olympics.
But after being here a couple of days, it looks to me like London is ready. These games, great weather, enthusiasm on the part of the people here in London. I think you're going to see terrific games.
I'm very delighted with the prospects of a highly successful Olympic Games.
Romney is delighted by the games. He thinks London is ready. Really, he does. But the British press isn't buying it. The Daily Mail said, quote, Romney completes humiliating U-turn in new charm offensive after Olympic gaffe. And BBC is wondering if Romney's London woes will hurt him at home. And The Sun says simply, "Mit the twit." And on British TV, the coverage, well, it's just been brutal.
To show the American people that he's ready to be commander-in-chief. But he became blunderer-in-chief.
Mitt Romney has turned on the charm during his visit to Britain by questioning the country's ability to host the Olympic Games.
But the message that he wanted to get out from this trip has been obscured.
If he's here to make friends, he's got a funny way of showing it.
And the British politicians have been piling on.
Tell us your thought about the Olympic torch. Who's it going to be? Mitt Romney?
Probably certainly not after today.
We are holding an Olympic Games in one of the busiest, most active, bustling cities anywhere in the world. I mean, of course, it's easier if you hold an Olympic Games in the middle of nowhere.
There's a guy called Mitt Romney who wants to know whether we're ready. He wants to know whether we're ready. Are we ready? Are we ready? Yes, we are.
Wow, getting called out in front of 60,000 people, that's gotta hurt. Back here at home, Republicans have been forced to admit things haven't gone so well for Romney across the pond.
He got stuck making somehow or another, a comment that the Brits took as an insult, and he walked it back pretty quickly and walked it back adroitly, but nonetheless the damage was done.
What Romney answered in that question is unbelievable. It's beyond human understanding. It's incomprehensible. I'm out of adjectives. All the man has to do is say nothing.
Republicans just wanted Romney to say nothing. Well, he's been really good at that so far. He said nothing about his tax returns. He said nothing about his actual policies. He said nothing about what he would do as president. Yet, he goes to England and promptly insults the country. And it's not the first time. In his 2010 book, No Apology, Romney said, quote, "England is just a small island. Its roads and houses are small with few exceptions. It doesn't make things that people in the rest of the world want to buy." Apparently, the people of Britain aren't buying what Romney is selling. We'll see in November if the American people feel the same way.